We might have broken Path of Exile 2 and made it too easy. This was a new solo self-found character that started with nothing and is already absolutely obliterating everything. Keep in mind, the weapon we're wielding is shit. I'm running around with this level 33 Sadness at the end of Act 3 Cruel. I would need something that has at least 180 to 200 damage. The very good thing about these strategies, they're replicable by everyone because it's so simple to do it. And the even better part, there is nothing to nerf for grinding gear games because they set one very important thing. They're not planning to destroy any builds this season unless something is fundamentally broken. For example, a skill that's supposed to spawn 4 projectiles spawning 20 projectiles instead. That's fundamentally broken. But a skill doing some more damage, like Lightning Spear, that's not broken. They even buffed it by another 25% at the start of the season. Because why not? Now, what are we doing with our character from Act 1 on to dominate? Let's take my level 9 Mercenary as an example. I'm going to buy myself a spear. Could do the same with a shield, but I prefer the spear method. Grab yourself a tier 3 skill gem, and we will craft ourselves a Rake as the spear user, or shield charge if you're using that shield. Now, Rake does one specific thing. It jumps you forward, which means it's absolutely perfect for one gem called Stomping Ground. This one says, trigger a shockwave when you take a step while using supported skill. This shockwave deals 150% of your strength as physical damage. The important part is that this shockwave just travels with you. So if I am jumping forward now, the shockwave comes, you notice that? White holds around me. And if I now use this against enemies, suddenly everything dies with a one hit. Now just as a comparison, let's put the Stomping Ground off. We're level 10 in that level 12 area here. So this would be without Stomping Ground. And we're still doing some damage with like a very low level spear, 5 to 10 damage, right? Like, we're still bleeding them out. If I now swap over to the Stomping Ground, despite having a low B spear, we're one-hitting everything. And this goes from mob packs to bigger monsters, rares, and bosses. Yes, you might not want to believe it, but this boss is just falling with a repetitive spam of Rake into Rake into Rake into Rake. Now, the thing is, Stomping Ground feeds off your strength. So how are we going to make good use of that? Since taking 25% bonus attack damage won't increase the damage of Stomping Ground, it will just make the Rake stronger. Now that down the line is actually useful because Stomping Ground will fall off. Not as soon as you think, because right now we're sitting in Act 3 Cruel and we're mainly killing things with a Rake Stomping Ground combo. I did actually try to replace Rake through Rapid Assault and fully tag into that, or Explosive Spear as we've done an Explosive Spear playthrough. But the reality is that the Stomping Ground is still in Act 3 Cruel better than any of the other abilities. And with a new character, you do an easy thing. Strength, 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 strength. That is what I did from the very beginning on. I only took a dexterity node as I needed it. As I needed it to skill a new ability, a higher level Rake, a higher level Disengage, the Herald of Blood finally. Later though, you can just take, for example, that 25 dexterity node to live up to this, but otherwise, we've been taking mostly strength nodes everywhere, and then also, in my case, scaling the bleed. Any magnitude of bleed that you could actually find, because, well, obviously, we're using a Rake, and now we're heading for this magnitude of bleed, so we get the instant damage boost from the Stomping Ground, destroying everything. And it says 150% of our strength. Now let's do the math in the very beginning of the game. How much damage is that actually? Because our Merc would do like 25 with a Spear Throw, 9 with a Rake, and then with the bleed over time, it's like a 2.7 bleed. That is enough to actually kill monsters. But if you now look at the Stomping Ground, 150 to 100% of the strength as physical damage. And I have 49 strength early on, which in this case it would be a 2.5 multiplier, 122.5 bonus damage with that 9 from Rake. That's quite some more than the Spear Throw can actually do. Let's take our Merc with a shitty spear and also his only Rake versus the Executioner with the level 10. I mean, surely this wouldn't just work that simple, would it? And the answer is, well, I'll just hold down the Rake button. And that's it. You're absolutely just sending him. And that's considering we don't even have any gear to give us bonus strength. Because what would you do now? How would you really make the most out of it? Since we know a simple way for maximum damage. We have a simple way to improve our damage tons. Well, let me show you. First, you could add a magnified effect to the rake, because that is 30% more range. And that 30% more range is the rake itself, but also the shockwave around you being somewhat bigger, that you can just hit more opponents. And the second part would be, from the very beginning on, look for gear that has bonus strength on it. And what I mean in this case is, it doesn't matter if the item only has 10 armor or anything. You're going to enter the vendor, you're going to enter bonus strength, and then you're just going to look if there is an item, a chest piece, a helmet, a piece of gloves, anything that has strength on it. If you find boots with strength on it, like you'll keep them over whatever we have here, over the movement, over anything, right? Back to the solo self-found ritualist to emphasize this. Boots, 14 strength. Chest piece, a lot of maximum life. Amulet, strength. Helmet, strength. Offhand, strength. This one used to have strength too, sadly not anymore. With rings, you're going for the flat damage, but if you can get strength or all attributes, do that as well. And that's been like my walking through for the whole game. I didn't care that this shield is providing less armor and evasion rating than any other shield. It's a level 33 shield, right? I could have had a way better one. I could have had a way better helmet than this 36 helmet. But I'm already sitting at 1,605 life, the way we've been playing with our 162 strength. I'm just simply not dying. I haven't died much during the campaign because I have this much life. I am very tanky, while I can just rake into our opponents. And since we're raking the whole time, you're also adding a rage gem. Since every melee hit gives you more attack damage and makes every consecutive rake do more damage, therefore just allowing you to do more bleed and more stomping ground damage. And as you're then anyways using Rake with that explosion, you might as well add Herald of Blood to it, because Herald of Blood has a fixed physical damage explosion that triggers if an enemy with blood loss died. And well, with the Rake, they do actually have blood loss on them. And as a very funny tip, if you play Bursting Plague together with Envenom, your Herald of Blood explosion can envenom someone, which then will trigger Bursting Plague. That Bursting Plague is actually physical damage. That physical damage from Bursting Plague has a chance to bleed, if you then do have chance to bleed in your passive trees. And with that chance to bleed from your passive trees that you're stacking up, the physical damage from the Herald of Blood, Bursting Plague, Poison can then trigger blood loss again, which then will trigger a fixed Herald of Blood physical damage explosion as the enemy dies, to then propagate this further and further, just like the Herald of Ice, but different. It kind of works nice. And yes, we've been playing this all the way from Act 1 to Act 3 Cruel. No matter the boss, no matter the enemy, hold down that Rake button and everything just vanishes. Or the shield charge button. But I just found Rake cooler because you could so easily scale your bleed. Now imagine, which characters would this work very well on? Any character that's either close to many strength clusters, aka the warrior. I mean, we get here alone some bonus strength clusters. You get all the strength here. You get the 25 strength booster here with another 15. I guess warrior could take this very crazy. Just get yourself a spear, get yourself Rake, and then we could just boost like to 200 strength in no time, especially with the Titan and making this nodes like count more, or even with a Smith of Kitava with that 20% more strength early on. Holy moly, you would be flying. I mean, the Mercenary itself also has the bonus strength stuff happening, and you can boost it with here some melee bonus damage, as that makes the Rake in itself stronger. And you're close to the whole bleed board as you then, or if you then want to lean into the bleed fantasy. For the Amazon, I obviously didn't have any strength nodes, so I'll just have to make up my own strength nodes. And if you try the whole thing as a monk, well, I guess you could get away with that too, as you're adding bonus attack speed to what you're doing. With that bonus attack speed, you're raking faster in a row. But wait, there's more. We are a huntress, and we are a ritualist at that, which gives us the ability Blood Boil. What does Blood Boil do? It applies corrupted blood that does 2% of the slain enemy's maximum life as physical damage per second. Doesn't work against bosses, but works against everyone else. You stand in a pack of mobs for 1.65 seconds, then they get blood boils. You kill them with the explosion, and then maybe one elite stands left open, and suddenly the corrupted blood just goes vup, 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 and drains them empty with the corrupted blood. And if you have a boss that does actually have ads, you can do absolute bonus bonkers damage. And with Swift Affliction, you do even more, and Physical Mastery adds another level to it, reducing the time it takes for the blood boils to pop. This 1.65 seconds here for enemies in my presence just goes faster. Now I said we have the Rage Gem on Rake for that 30 rage, and we only do physical damage. So why don't we just simply add Berserk to the fray? We get physical attack leeched as life per rage, cool. And then we have 43% increased rage effect as well, making our damage even better. This leads to me, even in the cruel difficulty, still destroying things with a stomping ground. Yes, the damage calculation ain't that OP anymore, but it used to be that very high damage boost on the damage you're dealing. And right now I'm only sitting at 162 strength. So it's only 162 times 2.5, another 405 area damage. But that's it. It's another 405 area damage that's consistently slamming down into your opponents with the damage, with the bleed you're doing anyways, and it just simply works. Don't get me wrong, I was trying to replace the stomping ground through something else, but in my Amazon skill set right now, we could have gone for the Lightning Spear. The Lightning Spear is that cheesy OP way to do it, and the Rake is just simply going strong. I'm sitting at 10 hours to finish the campaign as a solo self-found character with nothing, with an under-leveled spear. Like, right, I started with 0 gold, 0 stash, 0 anything. And we're sitting already there, close to the mapping stage. I'm going to kill Doriani by holding down Rake. I'm going to go into my first map, and I can still keep raking until there's the critical point reached, where we have all the bleed nodes with a bleed magnitude, and maybe some even incision bleed magnitude here. And it's finally better to actually put out the stomping ground and then replace it through an incision. Incision would just allow me to get another level of bleed magnitude to then really have my bleed be in the 2000s instead of the 500s. That's where my main bleed character is sitting right now. My main bleed character is actually not leaning so much in by taking the nodes here over on the warrior tree with all the strength nodes that I might later have to slowly swap over to dexterity. But you don't actually have to, because you can play an armor evasion rating character. Coming to the armor and evasion rating, you see I have nothing. Because obviously my pieces of gear are right now just providing me with maximum life and maximum strength, right? We haven't looked to get the maximum armor and evasion rating. We just barely get this together. I haven't taken a single defensive node. We haven't gotten like any more evasion rating. We haven't gotten any more armor evasion rating back here, right? We've just focused on pushing this forward. Now, if I wish to though, because I've gone all the way for the bleeding node, right there is waiting armor evasion rating, armor, to finally then boost it somewhat further forward. But, I mean, Act 3 Cruel, not a single defensive node. We're not dying. We're just raking. It's working way too good because your life, in this case, is your defense, making it possible for you to just heal up with those potions. No worries, I'll put a planner in the description below for the ritual list, how I've been going step by step. Would you like to replicate this? Do you want to give this a try and tell me in the comments below how it went for you blasting through the content? There's the live stream, by the way, just to give you a feeling for it. And if you're looking for how hunters could be in the endgame with bleed, enjoy and have a fantastic good day.